So if astrology is so real, then why can one Virgo meet another Virgo and they may have some similarities, but they also have some major differences in their personality? Well, in this video, you're gonna find out. Hello, beautiful people. Your moon sign reveals your emotional disposition, how you feel about things. And because we're motivated much of the time by how we feel, this can have a major influence on our personality, especially in romantic relationships, because we're operating from our emotions much of the time. So in this video, I will be uncovering the truth behind Virgo and how having each moon sign will influence their personality. And all I ask in return is that you show a little bit of love by hitting that like button. It's really easy, it's free, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. Just a little tap, a baby tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Here are the 12 faces of Virgo, a brief personality description of Virgo based on what moon sign they have. Let's go. Okay, so if someone is Virgo with Aries Moon, you are definitely going to get someone that is opinionated, confident, and outspoken. You're putting the energy of a perfectionist and a critical thinker with the energy of an impulsive leader. So clearly this person can take the lead when necessary and will have a very black and white way of looking at life. And what I mean by this is they'll be the type of personality that looks at situations and people and they'll size them up, observe the details of what they see, and make a clear assessment as to what something is or isn't. There really is no gray area in terms of how they look at things, and there's one thing that they can't stand more than anything else in the world, and that is someone that is fake or disingenuous. They value honesty, integrity, and a direct approach to life. So if they see someone putting on what they consider to be an act, either for effect or with the intention to manipulate the way that the people around them see them, then they will write this person off as not at all worth their time. This personality will be driven and goal-oriented, but if they're in a leadership position, the people that they are leading will either love them or hate them. They make very clear impressions on people one way or the other. And as I said, they are confident in their ideas and their approach to life, but they do suffer a bit from destructive self-talk because they do have a very competitive and perfectionist nature. So they may find themselves disappointed with themselves when they don't reach the top of whatever goal they're striving for, or really whenever they're in a situation where they feel like they could have or should have done better. Virgo and Aries are very different energies. So although this person will have a powerful personality, when you put two energies together that are very different, it does lend to them having some inner conflict that they have to deal with. So if there are any Virgos out there with Aries Moon and you're watching this right now, just remember that life is meant to be enjoyed. And much of the time, enjoyment will come from doing your best, yes, but also being excited and accepting of whatever outcome you're facing in any given situation. Always thinking that you should have done better will take a toll on you over time. So remember, balance is the key. The balance of being competitive with the balance of loving yourself enough to know that if you did your absolute best that you could have done at the time, then that's all anyone can ask for. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is going to have some challenges. Not in knowing what they want, this is really easy for them, but in embracing and cultivating their emotionally expressive or even vulnerable nature. They don't have a hard time expressing anger, frustration, or even judgment, but they do have a hard time expressing sentimental feelings and feelings of love and connection. They can be very loving, but it's hard for them sometimes to get past whatever issues they may have with a person or a situation. So someone in a relationship with them may feel like the Virgo with Aries Moon is never satisfied. So if you are in a relationship with them, just do your best to realize that they do have the natural need to strive for perfection. So they're gonna hold the person that they're with to the same standard they hold themselves to, which is a very high standard. So Virgo with Aries Moon will do well to be with someone that is compassionate and emotional enough to bring out their more sensitive side, but also confident enough to not be offended or constantly affected if their Virgo with Aries Moon partner is being critical. So overall, a Virgo with Aries Moon is an outspoken, action-oriented individual who is constantly striving for perfection and who carries a very high standard for the people that they interact with. They're very loving, but they will need to be with someone emotionally available and expressive to help balance their thinking nature with their feeling nature. And if you're up for the challenge, then a Virgo with Aries Moon may be the perfect match for you. Okay, Virgo with Taurus Moon. Now this is that situation where the two energies, the sun and the moon, are very compatible and thus complementary. Where Virgo can be critical, Taurus is compassionate. So there's a nice balance that's created there. This personality will be clear on what they believe to be right or wrong, but when it comes to communicating their position on things, they will do so in a way that does have an understanding and compassionate tone to it. So it will be received much better than if a Virgo with a different moon sign was expressing themselves. Also, Taurus can tend to have streaks of laziness and Virgo can tend to overwork. So a Virgo with Taurus Moon will be a consistent, hardworking version of Virgo, but they will also make sure to balance work with taking the necessary time to recharge and enjoy life. This person will have a calming disposition and will be well liked by the people that they encounter. They will for sure be a what you see is what you get type person, unless their rising is something that throws this off like Gemini or Aquarius. But nonetheless, they will be someone that is trustworthy, supportive, and very clear on what they believe to be right and wrong, and they will do everything in their power to live up to the standard that they set for themselves. They will more than likely be successful because they are very practical in their approach, and they will dream big, but only within the parameters of what they truly believe to be possible. They will be optimistic, but not unrealistic. They will be great listeners and will be extremely loyal to a cause, a commitment, or anyone or anything that they care about. This is a very cool personality. One of their only drawbacks is they can absolutely be stubborn. Once they have their mind set on something, it will be very difficult to change it. And although it does take a lot to get them to the point of anger, once someone does get them there, it will be a long road to travel to get back in their good graces. Now, when it comes to love, this personality makes a great partner. They're all about working together. They aren't bossy, and instead, they really enjoy working as a team. Just make sure that you keep it real with them. You must be honest. Even a little white lie is enough for them to really see you differently. Honesty and consistency are at the top of their priority list when it comes to love and relationships. The Taurus Moon energy does help Virgo to be more sentimental and romantic and emotionally expressive, but that double earth energy does not play when it comes to being loyal and being honest. So if you cheat on them or you avoid being honest, they will quickly shift to cold and dismissive, and it will be very difficult to get them back to center. Another drawback though is that they can tend to be a little bit of a worrier and take on a parental role or start nagging you about taking care of yourself or sticking to a plan or being responsible. Their intentions are good, but if you're the type that really values freedom and you don't like running your ideas by your partner before you make the decision, then there for sure is going to be some problems. So overall, a Virgo with Taurus Moon is a personality that loves the beautiful things in life and enjoying the comforts that life has to offer while being consistent and hardworking and loyal, supportive, compassionate, and an affectionate partner who can also be stubborn, sometimes nagging, and not really into being spontaneous. They for sure love to plan anything before they act on it. So if you're the more fly by the seat of your pants type, life is an adventure with no rules, then for sure look elsewhere. But if dependability, honesty, deep love, and commitment are your thing, then you have absolutely found your match with this personality. Okay, Virgo with Gemini Moon. Now this is a very cool version of Virgo. Although Virgo and Gemini are two very different energies, it doesn't manifest in much inner conflict. They may have a hard time making decisions at times if their decisions are of an emotional nature, but generally speaking, once they analyze something a bit and ask a few questions, they will more than likely have no problem coming to a conclusion that they feel really good about. Now this will be a very creative Virgo with an active mind full of ideas, but also the work ethic and follow through to really bring their ideas to fruition. Where earth signs tend to take things pretty seriously, this Virgo will be more willing to be excited by something, but then to also have a more lighthearted perspective on things. They'll also be able to let go of things that bother them much more quickly than the typical Virgo. Now this doesn't mean that they don't care or that they're not going to think about something that is bothering them over and over again, but it does mean that they won't carry the heaviness of the situation around or hold lifelong grudges like a Virgo with, let's say, an Earth Moon would be capable of. They will be a bit more forgiving overall than the usual Virgo as well. Now, if they can implement enough focus, prioritizing, and organizing in their life, then they will be extremely successful. They do have that work ethic of Virgo and the intellect of Gemini, but they will at times find themselves doing a lot, but maybe not making as much headway as they would like. So they work best in a partnership of some sort with someone who specializes in organizing. Now, when it comes to love, this personality will be very charismatic, but they may have a difficult time getting out of the friend zone. Because of their friendly and pretty easygoing nature, they can be read as less of a romantic energy and more of a friend vibe. So they may need to turn up the direct approach when it comes to love. They're flirtatious, but when it comes to expressing their feelings, at times they may not be as clear and direct with their emotional expression, which can cause misunderstandings. They are for sure capable of commitment, but are also open to and excited by the idea of just getting to know someone without having to put immediate labels on it. They also do have the capability of connection with someone and accepting it for the experience it is instead of reading into it or having extreme expectations. It will take someone to mentally stimulate them as well as physically physically stimulate them in order to really get their interest. One of those two boxes ticked probably won't be enough to keep them connected long term. Due to that Gemini moon of theirs, they can be a bit more unpredictable than the usual Virgo, but never in a way where they end up doing something malicious and unexpected. Just maybe unexpected. So you can count on them to always do their best in terms of doing the right thing. They just may like to buck the system every once in a while just to break up the monotony of a situation and keep it interesting. They're best matched with someone with that perfect blend of practical and adventurous. Too much adventure would lead to fun, but nowhere else, and too much practicality will lead to boredom, and that just won't work in the long run either. So overall, a Virgo with Gemini moon is a personality that is fun-loving, intelligent, creative and expressive, but sometimes unpredictable and easily distracted. But if you're bringing the goods to keep them interested, they can be all yours, and you will have a thrilling, supportive, loving partner on your hands. Okay, Virgo with Cancer moon. Oh, the emotional ups and downs with this personality. Now, where Virgos can be known for being a bit emotionally distant or even feeling cold at times, not this version of Virgo. As a matter of fact, this Virgo is extremely sensitive and outwardly so, meaning even if they're trying to hide their feelings, which they will do at times, they can't do a good job of it. It's far too big of a task because their emotions run very deep and it's written all over their face. They're empathetic, they're sensitive, they're idealistic, and sometimes moody. Think about it. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So if you have it in the moon position, that means it's going to have a very powerful effect on your chart. So every 2 to 3 days, the moon shifts into a different sign. So these shifts will have a strong effect on the emotional disposition of this personality. If there are any Virgos with Cancer moon personalities out there, take it from me. It will be a very powerful tool to watch the moon position each day to help you understand the energy it's bringing and how it can affect your personality. This way you can counterbalance any negative influences it may have just by being aware of it. Now, they will be hardworking, caretaking, they will also be critical like Virgos tend to be, but they will be more aware of how their critiques affect other people. They'll be successful wherever they put their focus as long as they don't allow emotional distractions to take them off course. They can be particularly involved in family issues because a Virgo with Cancer moon is very attached and involved with their family dynamic. They're loyal, they're extremely protective and supportive of the people that they love, but they can tend to cross the line into codependent or even neurotic at times. Now, this is only because they care so deeply. So if you have someone with this chart in your family, please recognize that they are not trying to overwhelm you or annoy you with their energy. It's just when you put the intense dedication and focus of Virgo with an emotional disposition like Cancer moon, which is all about family, they are going to have a uniquely powerful energy in this area. And for people in their family who are not wired this way, it can be way too much. So communication and boundaries will be important to have a healthy and happy connection. Now, when it comes to love, there is nothing this personality won't do to prove their love to the person that they're in a relationship with, but they will require the same level of intensity and devotion in return, and if they're not getting it, they will not deal with it lightly. They can be nagging for sure until they get their needs met, and they have a very hard time letting go of an issue if they feel like they have been done wrong, and because they are such feelers, it can often be that they get their feelings hurt. They do have great intuition as well, but it can sometimes be confused with their thoughts brought on by insecurity in the relationship. So there will be bouts of jealousy, and a few conversations will be necessary to make sure that the Virgo with Cancer moon that you're dating has their fears diminished and their confidence restored. But if you take the time to communicate with them openly and from a non-judgmental place, making sure that you both focus on being supportive of each other and finding solutions, if you give them that type of love, you will get the best version of them. And when they're at their best in love, they can be the most incredible, compassionate, like I said, supportive, understanding, protective, intensely devoted partner you will ever know. So overall, this is a powerful personality, capable of great things, but they can be high maintenance emotionally. But in their defense, it's because they understand what love is, and they just want to make sure that they're honoring love and doing the right thing. And in that process, they want to make sure that you're doing the right thing too, because they know that if you're both committed to loving each other in this way, it will be a love that lasts forever. And they are a Virgo, so they're going to try to do everything perfectly. And when it comes to love, they're going to try to do that perfectly too. But if you're the type that sees emotional people as way too much for you to handle, then make your exit now, because they are definitely emotional and there's no getting around that. Okay, Virgo with Leo Moon. Now this is one of those situations where these two energies balance each other out in a pretty positive way. Virgo will help to give Leo some grounded practicality, and Leo will help Virgo in terms of being able to let things go and move on to bigger and better things instead of just getting caught up in unnecessary details. Now, this person is still a Virgo, so those of us who do not have a lot of Virgo in our charts may think that yes, this person is still paying attention to unnecessary details. However, I'm talking in comparison to other Virgos. They are much less likely to get sidetracked or stuck in terms of letting their frustration hold them back. The one thing that Virgo and Leo have in common though is that they're both constantly striving to make things better. So this personality will be a doer, and a doer with the intention of improving anything that they can have influence on. This will be a Virgo with confidence and a strong work ethic blended with the assertive energy of Leo, so they will be a bit bossy. Also, because the Leo energy is very strong in their chart, it will lend to them being much more impulsive than the usual Virgo would be. And yes, they may still analyze things, but much of the time they won't start that analyzing until after the action has been taken, whereas usually Virgos analyze things before they make a decision. They're very supportive and loyal friends, and they will always give you the painful truth if you ask for it. They pride themselves on being honest and loyal, and they see no need to put on a false front just to impress or appease someone else. They are repulsed by fake or inconsistent types, and they won't waste time in arguments or confrontations just to prove that they're right about something. They don't shy away from arguments, but they usually only engage in conflict with the intention of righting a wrong, or if they feel like they're not getting the credit that they deserve. So I'm not trying to say that they're not argumentative. I'm just saying that there has to be a specific reason relating to injustice in order for them to passionately get involved. Otherwise, they could care less. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is open-minded, excited for exploration, and must be with someone who is emotionally and sexually expressive. They will have a high sex drive and will crave physical attention and connection. They are very generous and passionate, but they must be with someone who can accept the fact that they will spend a lot of their time pursuing their goals and working. A Virgo with Leo Moon must feel accomplished and independent within a relationship, so they will be consistently giving you love and appreciation, and what they ask for in return is honesty at all costs, support in terms of giving them the space to go after their goals, and a partner who's secure enough to keep this energy consistent. So overall, a Virgo with Leo Moon is an energetic, opinionated, but open-minded, and yes, you can be both of those things at once, passionate individual that can be bossy and at times argumentative, but will always have your back and always be open to resolving any problem as long as within the relationship the two of you have committed to forward movement and improvement. So less ambitious types that are satisfied with the status quo need not apply. Okay, Virgo with Virgo Moon. Now this Virgo will always be on the go and will actually drive themselves a bit crazy with constantly analyzing everything. The one thing you can count on for sure is that this person will be consistent in every way. They will be very observant, very honest, and talk about a hard worker. When they have a goal in mind, they can go and go and go and go. And where the rest of us would need sleep or even just a break, they can still keep going. They can be pretty reserved in terms of social situations, but once they're comfortable, they open up. They still, however, are protective of their personal information and just see people who display everything out in the open as doing way too much. They value consistency, not only in themselves, but in other people. And if they find you to be the type of person that says one thing, but then you do another, they will quickly write you off into the flighty category, and they have no place in their lives for flighty types. Now, remember, anytime we have two of the same sign in our big three, it is going to amplify those traits, both positive and negative. So yes, they will be the Energizer Bunny when it comes to their work ethic. But like I said, they will also tend to overanalyze everything and at times undermine their manifesting ability because they'll spend much of the time focusing on what they don't want to happen and what is wrong with something, as opposed to focusing on what they do want to happen or what they do like about someone or something. This personality also tends to size things up and label them very quickly, which can cause them to miss out on certain experiences and opportunities because they've already decided the limits on someone or something. So the more they can stay away from labeling something and being very quick to judge, then the more they're going to open up and find fulfillment. They will usually find success though simply because of their ability to focus and stay disciplined and consistent. Now when it comes to love, this personality is very genuine. You won't find them pretending to have feelings that they don't have just not to hurt someone. And they value honesty and directness above all else, and that's what they're willing to give in this area. They will have a hard time though when it comes to being traditionally romantic or vulnerable with their emotions, because they're so analytical. They tend to be thinkers and problem solvers as opposed to feelers, using compassion as a tool to connect. They can be compassionate for sure, but for more emotional types, they will hear your concerns and then they'll jump right into deciding what the solution is. And much of the time, people, especially in relationships, just want to be heard and they're not always looking for solutions. So someone that's a double Virgo, even though they aren't, they can be seen as cold at times. The truth is though, if you let them know that you just want to share something and you just need them to listen as opposed to try to fix it, then they'll respect that. It's a direct request and they're cool with directness, and more than likely they'll honor it. But if you're depending on them to use their emotional intuition to know what you need, you will be very disappointed because they don't see the need in reading between the lines. And when they do attempt to read between the lines, the conclusion they come to will still be grounded in identifying a problem and fixing it, as opposed to them thinking, let me understand emotionally where this person is coming from and then comfort them. So in romantic relationships, they are honest and supportive and loyal, but they are able to disconnect emotion from physical connection, and they can for sure survive without the need for heavy romantic interaction. So they're wired for love and monogamy, but they will do best with pragmatic types that see romance as being able to trust someone and count on them when times get rough, as opposed to writing poems or crying for you and with you when you're in pain. So overall, a double Virgo is a logical thinker, much more than a feeler, that is capable of success and has the work ethic to take success to great heights, as long as they don't get too distracted by what won't work or isn't working. And in love, they can make a great grounded life partner, but just know that they're grounded in logic, not emotion, and they see people that make decisions based on how they feel as opposed to gathered information and experience. They see those types of people as silly. So they work best with someone that is loving but logical, goal-oriented but practical, and absolutely someone who is able to take criticism in stride and work as a team to be the best version of themselves that they could possibly be. Okay, a Virgo with Libra Moon. Now here we're gonna have a much more agreeable and socially diplomatic version of Virgo. They will be intelligent and inquisitive, and they will be very open-minded in terms of not labeling people and situations as quickly as other Virgos. Also, where Virgos tend to analyze, and they're usually pretty confident in the conclusion that they come to, a Virgo with Libra Moon is gonna have a much more difficult time finalizing their perspective. They will love debating social issues and having passionate conversations about almost any topic, but they will be much more changeable in terms of their opinion than other Virgos would be. They can be a bit moody though, and if you find them in an irritated mood, they can be a bit more sarcastic and biting with their words. They're very ambitious, as most Virgos are, but they have the ability to not allow that energy to override all other things. That Libra Moon of theirs helps them to come off as friendlier and less cold and calculated. So in terms of social interactions, having Libra Moon is very helpful for not only their likability, but it also is just helpful in terms of them getting along with other people and having less disagreements. However, having that Libra Moon of theirs can for sure cause a lot of inner conflict and discontent. Think about it. If you put Virgo, which is the sign of the perfectionist, with Libra, which is the sign of weighing both sides of everything, you're gonna have a personality that is constantly in their head trying to decide what the right thing to do is, and wondering to themselves, am I making the right decision? Am I gonna regret this? Is this the best I can possibly do? So for all of you Virgos out there that have Libra Moon, it will be really helpful for you to make sure and live in the present moment as much as possible. Now what I mean by that is, yes, we're all living right now in the present moment. But in terms of where your thoughts are, if you find yourself rehashing past decisions or past experiences that you wish went down differently, thinking I should have done this or I should have done that, make sure to remind yourself that you cannot change the past. So why keep reliving it in your mind, especially if you know that it only makes you feel bad when you do so? So if you're gonna think about a situation or a circumstance, allow yourself one more time to think about it. Ask yourself what was the lesson in it. Then take the lesson with you and let go of the situation. Let go of the frustration and the regret that you might have around it. Or if you find yourself worried about the future, recognize that you only have the power to influence the future if you focus on what you can do in the present. So just ask yourself, what is within my power right now? And then take that action with optimism and confidence, knowing that if you're doing your best in the moment and honoring your truth to the best of your ability, and if you do that in this present moment, then the future will unfold according to that foundation, which will reflect back to you a world that you created operating from your truth. And this will help you to worry less and enjoy life much more. Overcoming your tendency to worry and second guess yourself will open the door to fulfillment and manifesting the things that you desire. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is absolutely wired for love and connection. Having a relationship is not only something that they usually desire, but it usually is something that motivates them more to thrive. It is so important though that they're with someone who stimulates their mind first and is a great communicator. They need to be able to talk things out with the person that they're with, and they also need to be able to respect that person's mind in order to truly be attracted to them. Now, they will take some time getting to I do, so to speak. They don't make snap decisions in any part of their life, but especially when it comes to love. So don't expect them to jump right into a committed relationship quickly. They have no problem getting into a relationship, but they need some time to make sure that they feel like they really know you, and they absolutely need time to know if you're capable of being independent within a romantic relationship, because that's what they require. They can't do the we're together 24 hours a day relationship. They're best suited for someone that has their own desires, their own goals, their own passions, who is actively pursuing those goals. Someone who wants to balance that pursuit with the enjoyment of navigating life as a couple while supporting each other, but not being dependent on each other. So overall, a Virgo with Libra Moon is an intelligent, diplomatic, personable Virgo that has major potential for success in their own life, and when it comes to love, they will thrive in a loving relationship rooted in great communication and independence. Okay, Virgo with Scorpio Moon. Now here we have a Virgo with major depth of emotion, but a Virgo that also is very hidden and mysterious when it comes to their innermost feelings. They will have incredible intuition and a unique ability to see into the motivation of other people. They can be an excellent judge of character, and they're very accurate with their perceptions. This Virgo is very driven and ambitious, and they're creative, and they're on a constant quest to grow and learn as much as possible about life and love. Where most Virgos operate the majority of the time based on what they think about things, this Virgo will operate much more on their instincts and how they feel about things. Now, this doesn't mean that they don't require proof like all Virgos do. It's just that this version of Virgo understands that there are many things unseen and undiscovered in this life, so they tap into that understanding, and because of this, they allow other perspectives and ideas into their consciousness, which actually opens up their mind even more to new experiences. They are just as turned off as other Virgos by fake people, maybe even more so, but they're also more willing to be open to the compassionate understanding of certain more emotional personality types. They are very creative, so it is likely that you'll find them in some sort of profession that allows them to tap into this creativity, and they're also drawn to learning about worlds beyond the surface, like religion or philosophy. They can be very reserved and hidden when it comes to their true feelings until they see the expression of these feelings and ideas as necessary. Now, they have the keen ability to understand human psychology and behavior, so because of this, they will be less judgmental than Virgos with other moon signs. So when it comes to their professional world, it may take some time, but they will reach whatever goal they set their minds to because they have the focus and tenacity to get there. Now, when it comes to love, they love deeply and passionately, but it takes them a very, very, very long time to trust. They more than likely won't really open up until they feel that they can actually trust you. And then they'll begin to slowly and steadily open up, but it will be a process. And if you're in a relationship with them, it will be important to wrap your head around the idea that they may still feel the need to keep some of their feelings to themselves, and not to be dishonest or to cheat on you or anything like that, but more so because they're wired to only reveal what they see necessary, and some emotions they just don't feel are necessary and they don't feel they need to be shared. So they're best suited with personalities that are open enough to make them feel safe, but discerning enough to also understand the need to keep some of their business and the business of the relationship to themselves. They will have no problem expressing themselves physically though. Expressing emotion in a physical way is much safer for them. It's the verbal expression that can be a bit challenging at times. But like I said, over time, and once they learn more and more that they can trust you, they will open up, and you will have a very loving, devoted, supportive, intelligent partner on your hands. But if you're the type that needs someone that dives in and opens up completely from the get-go, then you are going to have a very difficult time with this personality. But overall, you will have a creative, intuitive, capable person on your hands that is a bit hidden and operates a bit more from that keen intuition than other Virgo personalities do. And if you put in that time to earn their trust, you will be greatly rewarded and glad you did. But side note, if you betray their trust, their moon sign is Scorpio and they're an earth sign. So be ready to be cut off, done, and the chances of getting back into their life with the same level of connection are slim to none. Zero. Zilch. It ain't happening. Okay, Virgo with Sagittarius Moon. Well, first, this is a Virgo that definitely thinks in big picture strokes with much less attention to detail than the typical Virgo. They are driven by the idea of success and they feel like the sky is the limit in terms of what they can achieve. Here you have the consistency of Virgo with the thirst for adventure that Sagittarius has, and this makes for a personality with an incredible imagination and an action-oriented perspective. They have energy levels that just can go and go, but the one thing that this personality needs to make sure of is that they stay away from addictive behaviors. Sagittarius is a sign of extremes, and Virgo can absolutely be extreme in what they decide to focus their energy on. So Virgo with Sagittarius Moon can tend to take things too far at times, so if they're involved in any way with addictive behaviors, it can overcome their entire life. So yes, we should all stay away from addictive behaviors, but some astrological combinations are more susceptible to these behaviors more than others, and Virgo with Sagittarius Moon should definitely steer clear from any behavior that can become addictive. Now, this personality also has a thirst for knowledge and is great when it comes to interacting with and talking with people. They have just as much confidence or comfort level talking to one person from one culture or status as they do any other. Nothing really intimidates them, which is a very admirable trait. They should be pretty good at making money too, because with Virgo's drive and Sagittarius' good fortune, but they will also be excellent at spending money because, once again, Sagittarius has that sky is the limit perspective. So it is important for this chart to have a budget and stick to it as much as possible. This way, they'll have something to show for all of their experience, all of their hard work, and all of their effort. So more than likely, they will find success in whatever path that they take, just because of the great combination of optimism and a sharp mind. They're also usually very well liked because of their great sense of humor and their tendency to live and let live. Now, when it comes to love, this area of their life can be pretty tricky. They do get bored easily in general, and they are pretty restless, so already they will find it challenging to settle down. In addition to that, they are very independent, and that Sagittarius desire for freedom actually amplifies Virgo's tendency to require space and time to do things their way. So it will take a very specific type of partner to fulfill this individual and inspire them to settle down into a traditional relationship. They are very loving and generous and generally easygoing, but when it comes to being emotionally available or romantic for the sake of connection, this really isn't the highest thing on their priority list. It's actually more likely that throughout their travels and life experiences, they will have different relationships that show up that fit into those parts of their lives, but unless they have a rising that influences a more traditional perspective, when it comes to love and relationships, they more than likely won't really go the traditional route. So overall, a Virgo with Sagittarius Moon is a personality that is charming, enthusiastic, with a thirst for knowledge and a passion for adventure that for sure can find love, but it must be a love grounded in independence and freedom where both parties are excited to share the journey of life together. Okay, Virgo with Capricorn Moon. Now, this is another one of those situations where the sun sign and the moon sign are very compatible. So this personality will have a mind and heart that are in agreement with each other the majority of the time, which will lead to them being very decisive and very clear on what they believe. So the traits of Virgo and Capricorn that are similar will be amplified. A Virgo with Capricorn Moon will be no doubt hardworking, consistent, analytical, and also very quick to label a person or a situation. And by label, I just mean that they will have the tendency to very quickly decide what they believe to be true about a person or a subject, and they'll take that mental position on the topic, and once they take that mental position, it will be very hard to change their mind. Now, they can be open-minded in terms of not wanting to control what other people do. They aren't trying to meddle in anyone's life, and they don't want you meddling in theirs, but they will for sure have some strong opinions and will have that double earth stubbornness as the foundation of that thought, which creates a personality that finds it hard to adapt to certain situations. Now, this is tricky. They are capable of being around all different types of people, but that doesn't mean that they will be open to adapting their way of being. They will more so be who they are consistently through and through, no matter what the influences around them are saying or doing. So this is fantastic in terms of knowing that you can trust them to be who they say that they are. Who they represent is who you are going to get. But if you're trying to get them to see your point of view and it's very different than theirs, then good luck, because it is not an easy task at all. They will be in a constant state of analyzing everything and usually have a small circle of people that they consider to be really close friends. They're friendly and even social and well liked, but in terms of them opening up and truly trusting people, that number will be very few. They have a strong need for creative self-expression, so you may find them in a profession that's somehow connected to the entertainment industry. They would also make great coaches or teachers due to the fact that they value discipline and have the power to inspire others to be the best version of themselves that they can be. So when it comes to their career path, they have a high likelihood for success as long as they strengthen that weakness that they do have of not being that adaptable, and understanding that adaptable means accepting that your perspective may not be the best one at all times, and being truly open to embodying a different perspective, which is very difficult for them to do. Now, when it comes to love, they are very capable of deep, passionate love, and that passion will be very earthy and physical, meaning they're much more comfortable expressing their emotions physically than they are when it comes to opening up and being emotionally vulnerable. They will be much more compatible with someone that has a similar perspective when it comes to how they view life, because they are very resistant to change. They typically are attracted to someone that they feel like fits into their world, and they'll find conflict with someone that has expectations that would require them to change. So you can count on them to be loving and honest and hardworking and very physically present and expressive. But if you're looking for someone that is open to change and is compassionate even when they don't agree with you, then you're gonna have a big problem on your hands, because this powerful double earth combination is capable of many things, but change is not at the top of that list. But loyal, loving, creative, and consistent, they get the gold in these categories. And just keep in mind, if their rising is something that opens them up to being more adaptable, then this absolutely will be softened up a bit, and they will be capable of change and opening their mind to other people's perspectives and even adopting those perspectives and seeing the value in that. But if their rising is something that amplifies Virgo and Capricorn, then you do the math. Okay, Virgo with Aquarius Moon. Now this is a very capable version of Virgo. It's interesting because as different as Virgo and Aquarius energy are, they're also very similar in so many ways. They're both very analytical, and they love understanding how things work and how things can be improved. They both are concerned with the well-being of the world as a whole, and they both find fulfillment in making the lives of other people better. So with this personality, you will get someone who is interested in influencing change. This doesn't mean that they're going to change. They're still a Virgo, but it does mean that if they see it within their power to put forth the work and be part of a team or a cause that can make a positive change overall, then they're in and they'll give it all they got. Now, Aquarius is a fixed sign and Virgo is an earth sign, so when they do have their mind made up about something, well, it's very difficult to change that mind of theirs. This personality is argumentative, but more in the way that they just love a good debate. They love exchanging ideas and challenging the norm. So they're not going to be taking it personal and getting pissed off and walking out of the room. They just like sometimes playing devil's advocate just for the fun of it. Now, when it comes to career paths, they will do well in anything that involves capitalizing on the fact that they have great communication skills. They can be shy at times, but they are great with people. So either politics or some job that involves public service would be fantastic for them. The challenge for them is, even though they don't get angry in a debate, they can be quick to dismiss someone that disagrees with them or that they feel like just doesn't have the experience or the intellect to back up their mental position. But overall, they should have no problem establishing some level of success when it comes to career, because they are great problem solvers and they're usually hard workers, and they do have that talent for turning on social charm when necessary. Now, when it comes to love, they won't have any problem attracting romantic energy because of their uniqueness and their intellect. However, they are much more thinkers than feelers, so they can feel emotionally distant at times, and because of that Aquarius Moon of theirs, they may not feel the need to be in a traditionally committed relationship unless their rising is something that counterbalances that energy. They can be monogamous, but they find no need in labeling anything. They are affectionate and supportive, but they also value independence above all else. So they will need a confident, independent partner in order to feel comfortable establishing something that is long-term. They won't do well with overly sensitive types that like to spend most of their time with their partner. A Virgo with Aquarius Moon loves to spend time with you, don't get me wrong, but they also love their alone time and their personal time where they can explore independent pursuits. So overall, a Virgo with Aquarius Moon is intelligent, inventive, open to exploration, and focused on enjoying life and making a difference. They want their life to have meaning, and when it comes to love, they're open to exploring the adventures of life together. They don't have much interest in following society's rules or even following the rules of the person that they're in a relationship with. They are loving and compassionate, and they do have integrity, but they're also very independent and they value freedom. So if you are the let's fall in love and spend every moment together type, then look elsewhere for sure. Okay, Virgo with Pisces Moon. Now this is that situation we have with every sign where the sun and the moon are polar opposites, which can create a very beautiful balance in some ways and create some major inner conflict in others. So let's start with the positive. We have practical Virgo and Pisces the dreamer. So this creates a personality that can see outside the box, but has the grounded know-how to bring that outside of the box dream to fruition. A great example is Michael Jackson. He had a work ethic that was intense to say the least, and a creative mind that has us still enjoying his music years and years and years after it was created. On the flip side though, this will be a personality that has an emotional disposition that is often at odds with their thought process. So in a creative world, this personality works very well, but in their day-to-day or in situations that don't allow for as much creative freedom, this personality may find it very difficult to cope. They will find themselves doubting their choices and worrying about the outcome, because both Virgo and Pisces tend to be energies that do worry a lot. So with this personality, it has so much to do with the type of environment that they've chosen for themselves. They will thrive in an environment where creativity, communication, compassion, and freedom are rewarded, but they have a much harder time in an environment with too many parameters and rules, unless it's rules that they've made. So it's very important for them to be aware of this and to forge a path for themselves where they're working with people who bring out their best, or where they get to be their own boss. They will be opinionated, like, well, all Virgos are, but they will also be very aware and have compassion for the way that their words and their actions may affect someone else. This personality will have a major love for animals and travel and artistic pursuits. They will also have a bit of a hard time facing harsh realities, so they may find themselves avoiding facts that they just don't want to deal with, or just deciding to see things the way they want to see them. The rising also has a major influence on this personality, because depending on what their rising is, it will cause them to lean more in the practical direction if it's similar to Virgo, or the dreamer perspective if the rising leans more towards Pisces energy and similarities. If they do find themselves in a profession or environment that is too confining or judgmental, they for sure can slip into major insecurity and even depression. So I can't express enough how important it is for this personality to choose their environment wisely. Now, when it comes to love, this person will be much more sensitive and emotionally expressive than a Virgo with other moon signs. They will have a hard time trusting, but if they do find that trust that they're looking for, they will be extremely passionate, attentive, supportive, and a team player. And on the flip side, if the relationship has trust issues, you will have a problem on your hands. They will be moody, emotionally high maintenance, sometimes insecure. They'll even become bossy and argumentative. So it's clear to see that this personality does operate in extremes, as does most personalities that are made up of polar opposites. So overall, a Virgo with Pisces Moon is a powerful personality capable of greatness with a depth of creativity, problem-solving power, clarity, and expansive vision, but also someone who is very influenced by their surroundings, and when those surroundings are not favorable, they can bring out their worst. So support, love, good communication, and absolute trust is very important if you're in a relationship with them and you want to bring out their best. And their best is beautiful. Okay, so there you have it. A brief personality description of the 12 faces of Virgo based on what moon sign they have. I hope you all found this information useful. If you did, please hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you've had any experiences with a version of Virgo that you would like to share, please do so. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.